It's late August in London. The afternoon sun glitters through a humid yellow haze, catching the ink-dark silhouettes of broken chimneys and parapets. This is a street where human eyes no longer watch, a once familiar neighborhood now silted up with the queerness of abandonment. Mrs. Drover, a woman defined by a certain energetic calm and a manner of controlled worry, forces her key into an unwilling lock. As she pushes the warped door open, dead air rushes out to meet her. Inside, the ghost marks of her former life, the smoke stain on the mantelpiece, the bruise in the wallpaper, remain exactly where she left them. She is there to collect belongings for her family, but as she passes the hall table, she stops dead. A shaft of light reveals a letter addressed to her. There is no stamp, and the post office redirects all her mail to the country. Someone has entered this shuttered house to leave it there. Upstairs, in the sharpening shadows of her old bedroom, she reads the few lines. It is from Kay. It mentions an anniversary, a promise made 25 years ago, and a claim that nothing has changed. It concludes with a simple, terrifying instruction. You may expect me, therefore, at the hour arranged. Mrs. Drover looks for a date. The letter says today. She is no longer alone in the silence. Her retreat into a safe suburban life has been interrupted by an impossible trespasser who seems to know her every movement. Her lips begin to go white. She goes to the mirror, polishing a clear patch in the dust to look at her own face, the face of a 44-year-old mother with eyes starting out under her hat brim. She turns from the reflection as precipitously as she went to meet it, locking the bedroom door behind her. She tries to rationalize Noletter's arrival. She thinks of the caretaker, but he is away on holiday and doesn't know she's in London. No one else has a key. And yet, the letter sits on the hall table with an air of certainty, as if it knew it would be found. From the church tower outside, the clock begins to strike. She sits with her back against the wall, counting each of the 6 slow strokes. The hour arranged, she whispers. What hour? She kneels by her chest, fumbling with parcels in a rapid, decisive way. The 6 strokes have passed, but the ambiguity of the deadline remains. She has to get out, to find a taxi, to return to the solid reality of her husband and children before the next hour strikes. As she packs, she reaches back 25 years to the last time she saw him. She realizes with a start that she can no longer remember his face. It is a white, burning blank in her memory, an acid drop on a photograph. She remembers the goodbye under the trees in August 1916. It was not a romantic parting. The soldier was cold, drawing away from her even as they spoke. He told her she didn't have to understand his words, only that she would, eventually. To verify his presence in that dark garden, she had put out her hand. He took it and pressed her hand, without kindness, onto one of the brass breast buttons of his uniform. The sharp cut of that metal into her palm was the only physical evidence she carried away from the encounter. When he was reported missing months later, her family praised her courage. She did not reject other lovers. They simply failed to appear for years. It was only at 32 that she finally found relief in the courtship of William Drover, settling into the quiet, arboreal life of Kensington. For over 2 decades, she lived as though the soldier had never existed, dismissing the idea that her movements were still being watched. But the letter on the bed confirms that the years of silence were merely a weight. She stands up from the chest, her heart resuming a normal rhythm only at the thought of a taxi. She will find a driver, bring him back into the house, and have him help her carry these parcels out. The presence of another person will break the silence. She goes to the top of the staircase and listens. Nothing moves below. But as she stands there, a draft of air travels up the stairs and brushes against her face. It emanates from the basement. A door or window has just been opened by someone leaving the house. The intruder is no longer just a writer of letters. They are moving through the structure of the house. Mrs. Drover lets herself out of her own front door by inches, stepping into the empty street. She walks toward the main road, trying to check her pace. The unoccupied houses opposite meet her look with a damaged stare. Every creak of London's silence is exaggerated in the humid evening. She listens for footsteps. In this silence, no tread could have gained on hers unheard, yet she feels the weight of the street pressing in on her. She makes it to the square, where the city finally begins to show signs of life. 2 buses pass each other. A man wheels a barrow, and a woman with a perambulator. The ordinary flow of the world is right where it should be, signalizing that the nightmare of the empty house is behind her. There, at the square's most populous corner, is the taxi rank. Only one taxi remains, presenting its blank rump to her. It appears to be waiting. She pants up from behind and puts her hand on the door. The driver starts the engine before she can even speak. She settles back into the seat, relief washing over her as the car begins to move. The taxi turns to face the main road, but Mrs. Drover realizes she hasn't said where she wants to go. She leans forward to scratch at the glass panel that divides her from the driver's head. The driver brakes to a near stop. As he does, the church clock strikes 7. The arranged hour has arrived. The driver slides the glass panel back. The jolt flings Mrs. Drover forward until her face is almost against the aperture. For an eternity, driver and passenger remain eye to eye, not 6 inches apart. Mrs. Drover's mouth hangs open. Then she begins to scream. She beats her gloved hands on the glass around her, her voice rising as the driver remains fixed on her. The taxi accelerates without mercy. It makes off, turning away from the busy square and plunging back into the hinterland of deserted, bombed-out streets.